episode 42, 42, 42. You're non-experts. I'm your non-expert Black. That is
I'm
your
your
non-expert
non-expert
Cinco.
Neek to the sink.
And we are your non-expert opinion, the podcast, episode 42. Devil Wears Prada, part 2. Let's jump right into it. Last week we did Devil Wears Prada 1. That's pretty dope. We rolling right into part 2. Pretty good movie. Pretty good movie, pretty solid movie for, again, I'm gonna just state that it didn't deserve it not that it didn't deserve, but it didn't need a part 2. However, they found the way to to bring back the roles, to reprise the roles. It's pretty good, solid little story. Not gonna lie, you know what I mean. It's cool. It's cool. What's your opinion on
I
this?
thought they did an excellent job handling a sequel to a movie that didn't need a sequel. like,
Right, right.
yeah, like realistically, I can't really complain about much. I feel like whatever small things I might have said about the original movie in terms of like the actual storytelling or concepts that they kind of put out there, I feel like they rectified it, like almost all of it. like when I watched this movie, um,
Very much. Yeah, yeah. They
like
cleaned it up a little bit, like
like
with
the
the
first
characters
thing,
and all that.
the first thing I'll bring up is remember how last week we were talking and I said this feels like you know, not sacrificing your friendships and the people around you and being blinded by your journey to a career you want and stuff like that. What felt like that was
Huh?
Andy's story, and
Yep.
I gave that point on where I felt like she kind of gave up her career because she saw it was affecting her loved ones and this shitty ass boyfriend that she had. And I feel like this whole movie basically kind of like, don't not pursue your career for people. Go ahead and do what you want to do. Pursue the things you're trying to pursue. I feel like
It
that's where
did.
this movie kind of went. It was like, yeah, that kind of narrative that we were spinning. Like, think about it. The movie starts. She's not even with that dude anymore. So, like, basically, the
Yeah.
whole
Like,
premise that she gave up the job to protect her love life ain't even matter. Like, the whole
done.
first movie is basically pointless at this point now. like,
And she says she traveled the world. I mean, well, she traveled outside of New York for a couple
I was like,
years.
yeah, with that fuck boy. Instantly thought that
Went to
when she
Boston.
said that.
She
Instantly
probably
thought
went to
that.
Boston with the nigga. Went to Boston with him for a
Yeah,
little
I
bit.
instantly thought that when she said that I traveled for a little bit. I was like, yeah, with that lame ass motherfucker who made you quit the job in the first place, just for you to end up back there 20 years later.
Right. I thought Emily Blunt role was dope. I thought Stanley's role was dope. Meryl Streep, whatever her name is, dope role was dope. Um, I could say I was
Andrea's never the
the
best
character
character
change.
to
The,
me.
the character change in Meryl Streep was pretty cool. Like we got a little bit more to her. Like you know what I'm saying. Like we got a little bit more emotions. You know what I mean? She was more like she was like that devil, but a devil with layers to her.
I feel like she was so far from being like she was still being herself, but she was so far from being the antagonist of the movie. So like you still get Miranda, but it's kind of like what I thought it was going to be. You kind of get to see her not really trying to prove that she's different, but you see her somewhere toward the middle toward the end of the movie realize the errors in her ways and how she
She
treats the
asked the
people around
dude,
her.
"Did I take advantage of you?" And even the conversation she had with the I guess her lover when she went back to the hotel, like it
Oh
was a
yeah, the new
heartfelt
lover.
conversation. Like yeah, like you know what I mean. Like we seen more to her. I thought that was cool. Emily Blunt's character, Emily, that we seen a little bit more to her. We seen like the snake. We seen like the devilish side to her that she picked up from working. I guess working in the Runway magazine from. I guess you would say from Miranda. Like so, she was like more so like making the undercut deal. You know what I mean? Like going behind the
Yes.
back, not telling the truth and all that. You know, like her own intentions and other stuff. So we got to see that side of her and
They
everything.
all just they all use people and things as stepping stones, and they just do it in their own way. That's kind of the thing with those three, is that they all kind of
Yeah,
have shown
yeah.
they're all like the same side to a coin, basically, just in three different versions. Like it's like a quarter, a dime, and a nickel. They all have a heads and they all have a tails.
Right, yeah.
But
I mean, because I guess the runway that was the point of it, just being like they was on a runway. Everybody was like in different sections. I guess like you had the director, the CEO, which is Miranda. You had
I'm not gonna
the
lie, I felt bad that my girl Emily got demoted again at the end of the movie. Went from Dior to Coach. I'm like, and it had
Damn.
and like it had to be Coach, which is like something else that's like it's still relevant today, but like Coach is definitely more like 2006 relevancy. So she got sent back like 20 years, and I chuckled at that because I was like, damn, what a brand to pick to demote Emily to. I thought that was a little.
This one was more like geared on like the fashion, like I guess because of the modern,
I think this
the
movie
more
is less
the
geared
modern.
toward the fashion. I think it's more geared toward the social media's effect on marketing and stuff like that. That's where they actually take
I feel
a
like
step
when I say
forward.
like the fashion, I've been like I feel like the first one was more like the journalist, like like we got a lot more of that. Like this part, we got that in like when she was trying to write the part, like the story with Miranda. But however, it was more so we seen like Emily Blunt, like in her in her setting a lot, like what I'm saying, setting that bar, like like I get what you're saying, like because the first one it was more like they would attack the fashion a lot, like
They
what I
were
mean.
talking
So it was
about
like
fashion
more,
consistently in the first one, where they
yeah,
really
like
don't
with this one,
focus
I guess
on
what I'm trying to say,
pieces or
like they
stuff
were
like
like
that.
I guess what I'm trying to say, like it was like just less of the journalist part and more in this, and more of like the different direction
So
and
for
stuff.
me, I think this movie takes less of a fashion stance because they really don't speak on like beauty standards. They really don't speak on like being fashion forward or dissing Andy for her lack of fashion. Realistically, I feel like the journalism is more evident in here because she's actually a journalist in this movie. Like, so she's like actually
Right,
performing the job that she's, because it's a good thing that they all got to where they wanted to be and now they're all connected, but like they're the roles that they wanted to be in the first place. So Miranda's still Miranda. Emily's not with Runway, but she's over there being the lead for Dior at the beginning of the movie. And yeah, it starts with Andy getting fired almost in the same fashion that Miranda almost got fired in the first movie. But her journalistic ways and her prowess landed her the opportunity at Runway, which had a nice little twist at the end of the movie that I thought was like awesome for a wrap up in the movie too. I don't think it matters, so I'm gonna skip ahead because we
Stanley
find out
giving
like
her part.
that Nigel pulled the strings to get her in there. So
Right, yeah.
and I'm happy that Nigel didn't do what you said, honestly. I'm not gonna lie. When I got to the end of the movie, I was so happy Nigel didn't turn sides.
Well, I think that was, yeah. I kind of threw it out the window from the beginning. Like when I seen them two
That he was
already
already in
working.
cahoots. Yeah, like he wasn't gonna turn
Yeah,
halfway, right? Like,
yeah. It kind of, yeah. I kind of got that. I was like, I seen that Emily was on her own thing. Like we already seen that.
yeah,
Like
yeah, because she's like
so,
living her own life now away from Runway. She's not under the thumb
yeah.
of Miranda anymore.
That guy having a heart attack was funny.
Irv, the
Niggas
guy,
just
the little short guy that Stanley said had a big ego in the first movie.
mad
Yeah,
random. Like it was a cool way like segue into the story. His son taking over, but it was mad random. I
you
didn't
know,
expect that.
I did think it was kind of random, but I was like, oh, this is how they set up the bad guy. Because I was gonna say this a couple minutes ago when we started talking. It was hard for me to pinpoint what the actual drama of the movie was for majority of the movie because I know all the stuff it said, hey, it's Andy helping Miranda combat Emily. But for like the first
Right,
hour of the movie, Emily's not even being an asshole or anything like that. Like she's being Emily, but like she's not like out to get Miranda or out to get Runway. At least you don't know that during the movie for like the
right,
first
yeah.
hour.
I guess
And
it was just more so like we get that later on, like so it's like kind of insinuated, like
when Andy went to her for help, and the help actually was what Emily wanted all the time, like
yeah,
with
like
that opportunity to get in there and snatch the company, and
it's
that's when
like
you're
they was
like,
understanding.
oh, oh, and that's where the randomness of the death comes in. It's like, yeah, it was so random, but that's the way they set up the actual drama. Because I was like, wait, if Emily's supposed to be the bad guy, what is Jay being an asshole and changing things got to do? But then he never really changed nothing. He just was willing to sell the company off to whoever was the highest bidder.
Yeah,
So he
yeah,
comes
yeah, yeah.
off as an antagonist, and then they pivot that shit instantly, basically.
That is definitely, yeah, it's definitely her. She gets the short end of the stick at the end. Which I was gonna say, but them, what's this guy name? Stanley. What's his name?
Oh, Nigel.
Nigel. Getting his chance at the end was dope.
Yeah, I
That
thought
was
that was a really
cool.
great moment because it showed a lot of
Yeah,
care.
it was,
It showed the development for Miranda by the end of the movie, and that she had to really look at herself and be like, "Damn, I have not like been looking out the best of my abilities for the people who've been supporting me for so long, have I? And I should start now
right,
before it's too late." So
right. You know what? Yeah, you're right. I would definitely say the movie was more about the journal. I'm thinking about it now, like yeah, because they was it's a lot more. It
this
had like the
story
little
is
social
so
media
much
team.
like
Yeah,
this story just feels fuller and more realistic and like much more gratifying
I
than the
think because it's
first
more
one did.
current.
I don't think it's because it's current.
I think because it's more current. You
I
know what I
just
mean?
I just think the events line up with where they ended more than the weird feeling I left the first one with. Like she just went through all that to kind of just forfeit her dream job or the opportunity to get into her dream job. Like I felt a little less fulfilled coming out of the first movie.
Yeah, I think they gave us the perfect ending too. Now, if they give us a part three, I'm gonna be like, all right, now I'm gonna write a letter.
Yeah,
I'm
stop
gonna be
chasing the
like, all
cash
right,
and get
you
out of here.
stretch it.
Yeah, like y'all did this
No,
already,
they I think
bro.
they gave us the night ending. They were all in their offices. They're all prospective offices. I thought that was cool. I said, okay, that's the ending that it deserves. A lot of the camera shots I like because it felt like the original movie and it looked like the original movie. Like they just like kind of like wafted off into the buildings a lot, or like see her walking and stuff like that. Like how the camera, So I was looking at it and I'm like, this looks exactly like the first movie.
Yes, just with
You
like
know what I
better
mean? At the
equipment and
end,
stuff like
at
that.
the end it felt a little drawn out. Like it felt a little drawn out to me at the end. Um, but I guess it's one of those stories where you kind of you can feel it with like little like scenes where like okay, this is what's happening with this person and this is what happened. You know what I mean? Like at the end, like it felt a little drawn out, but I kind of got it. I was like, okay, like we finally got there. I was like, all right.
So there's a moment at the beginning of the movie. I don't know if you caught it in like the first like 5 to 8 minutes of the movie where she's like doing her walk to wherever she's going, and they give a nice little nod back to the original movie to when Miranda told her about herself when she was like, "Oh, you just think this is stuff, huh? You just think this is stuff," because they show the guy showing the two cerulean belts as a vendor on the street.
Oh, I didn't catch that. Oh
Yeah,
shit,
I seen
fine.
that shit.
Yeah, it's
I
dope.
was like, "Ooh, I see you. I see them colors. I see them belts." So I thought that was a nice little
That's
nod.
dope.
I noticed again, not to say this was as dry, like how I said the first movie, like I wasn't really digging the first 30 minutes. I was actually kind of invested at the beginning of this movie. But I had to clock it. Stanley gives her another moment where she's like, well, Nigel basically gives Andy another moment where he has to like kind of snap her into shape and kind of be like, hey, stop being a whiny brat and like get the job done. This is adult life, baby. And once again, it's at
Which
the
is
30-minute
better,
mark.
yeah.
And once again, they did it at the 30-minute mark, bro. And I'm like, so this is obviously their pinpoint where they're like, we're taking the movie where it's got to go now. So I thought that was pretty
Probably
cool to
for
get
this
another one
movie,
of
like a
those.
pivotal 30 minutes in this type of movie is probably like a pivotal moment.
Yeah, yeah,
That's when you
yeah.
put the pivotal moment. If not, it's gonna be dry, too dry.
I will say, the the love story for Andy felt unnecessary. Like, it, things were just happening between them, but I feel like
Yeah,
nothing was really relevant to the story itself. It was just throwing her in a relationship just for the sake of throwing her in a
that was
relationship.
just fluff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that felt like fluff right
And
there.
her one friend still being around was alright, I guess. But the friend they chose, I was like, oh, it's you again. So
Now, funny thing about that was I didn't notice that was her until towards the end when she gave her the bag and she reacted
When
the
they
same
basically
way.
do the gift scene
And I
all
was
over
like,
again.
yeah. And I'm looking at it. I'm like, oh shoot, that's a friend. She just got a little heavier. And all that.
Yeah, I kind of noticed
I
earlier in the
mean,
movie, but I was like, nah.
I didn't notice that the whole movie. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. Let me think. What else was pretty good about this? Uh, I like that they gave us another one of those Emily Andy moments at the end of the movie, where like they show the connection that they actually have outside of all of this. So those kind of things were like very rewarding for me, where I'm just sitting here like feeling really nice about the movie and good at where the movie took it. Um, because it kind of shows that nobody's really at odds. They all just know it's business, realistically. Like everybody's just trying to get
Yeah.
ahead, and sometimes you got to step on people. Like they even did that thing where they tried to make Andy feel bad for taking an opportunity again. When she first came for the job, and she's like, "Oh, well, we just had to
Oh,
send
yeah.
this chick home before her first
Yeah.
day even started." And I'm like, "Look at this shit already happening the same way."
It was like, yeah.
So
You just cost this girl her job.
I'm still unsure if Miranda really didn't recognize Andy at all.
I thought that was a cool insertion of the movie. I think she recognized her because she said, "I always knew you was gonna be something," and then she said, you forgot who I was." But then, like, she could have
She just
said,
walked
like,
off.
"Yeah, you're right," but she was like, "No, no," she was like, "Oh, well, after that." Like kind of saying like after like oh yeah
But
after I
that's
remembered who you
but that's
no
what
no she
I'm
was like no she
saying.
was like before that she said before that, like, oh, like before I forgot who you was. Like I always knew you was gonna be something. But
When it's
I kind of felt like
Miranda,
she, yeah, but I kind of feel like she was saying like the way when she said oh before that. I kind of feel like the O was like a giveaway, like almost like she forgot. She said she forgot. Like you know what I
I
mean? Like
almost think that
or
like
that like that's like
I think she had a quick memory flash real quick and she's like, "Oh, this is the chick from 20 years ago." And like she remembers bits and pieces now, but like she barely remembers her still. Like cuz like you can see how her attitude is. She goes through so many of these assistants that like, yeah, this is one who stood out, but 20 years later, bro, like it's hard to just remember firmly the 20-year ago chick.
yeah.
But I mean, it's not like
And then
Emily
she was just an
forgot.
assistant, so I know she got you.
It's not like Emily forgot though. Emily was like, is this Miranda walking in with
Oh yeah,
Andy?
she was
I
shocked.
see.
Yeah.
So you still got those same eyebrows. And then she even brought it up at the end of the movie. She's like, "What's wrong with my eyebrows?"
Yeah, that was a cool little joke.
Yeah, I like the moments that they take
That
to,
was
to
dope. That
nod
was
back at the original movie and moments that happen in there. Um, yeah, they just did a super solid job with the foundation. And fuck Nate, so happy he ain't in this movie. So happy they don't even like let him have 2 seconds, bro. Like he
I don't
comes
even
back
mention him.
around.
I know, yeah, right.
Yeah, I'm so happy about that.
No, that would the movie didn't deserve that. It was nothing about that. Like we said, even her little love thing was like we didn't need that. Like, but they gave it to us. It was just something to watch. Like, it was almost a 2 hour movie. I'm like, it could have been like an hour, like 30 minutes without their scenes.
You
It
know,
would have been all right.
you're right. It was almost 2 hour movie, and I think the goodness, like what really makes it good, is just seeing those characters being those characters around each other again. Honestly, like I don't even have a
Yeah,
20-year gap in seeing this movie. I have a couple days gap seeing this movie, and it was pleasant seeing how these characters reconnect with a new story 20 years in the future. Eh, like the stuff that we were like kind of just pointing out like weren't even really important. It was like just seeing them together. Because realistically, when
it's
we
just
get to
stuff that
that point,
happened and it was pretty cool. Like,
yeah, well, cause think about it, like the antagonistic part of the movie isn't really that heavy and it doesn't really last that long. It kind of comes up and kind of goes away. It's kind of like just the journey that they go through to overcome it. Really, they don't even really get any pushback.
yeah, it's like it happens. They deal with it, everybody has their own revelations or whatever, like come ups or whatever, and or like fall offs, and yeah, pretty much.
And you know what's nice with the ending? One of the few characters that ever shows like a like from Miranda who's not like Andy or Emily or anything like that is Lucy Liu's character. I forget her name. Is it Sasha or something like that?
Yeah,
The one
Sasha.
that she gives the scoop that she's getting married and all that stuff, and she's like, "Yeah, you guys can release a story because like you treated me like a human." This is like the one person you see who's like outside of the circle who treats Miranda like this, and who's the one person who comes to save the day at the end of the movie? Lucy Liu's character.
Sasha.
So I thought it was pretty nice to have that come around about, and like the one person that she treated like a human came to save her because it showed her that, these are workers and stuff like Nigel, but you gotta treat them like a human.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, because that was her
She
whole
was the devil
realization.
with layers.
I don't even want, like, this is the Devil Wears Prada too, but I don't really think the same concept applies realistically. Like the Devil Wears Prada is about like, you're working in hell, you're working for the devil, and in name it's a part two, but in character wise, she's not as bad as she was before. Like she's
Yeah, no, I
nowhere
mean,
near the
she has a little remarks, a little her ways in the movie, like you know what I mean, like but it's like it's not really devilish. It's
you,
not that
you know what's a good
it's not
one?
crazy. It's not crazy.
A good one is when Andy walks in the office and she's like, "Is that Miranda hanging up her own jacket?" And then her assistant tells her, "Yeah, that's because HR got involved a couple years ago and shit like that. Because they say she used to just throw her coat at people, and you're just like, yeah." And HR stepping in, and I'm like, that's so 2026, bro, for HR to step in when in 20 years ago they were just like,
It
whatever.
definitely is.
The money's being made. Who cares? Like, and I liked her
Even
assistant.
her on the train.
Her assistant was pretty badass. Was it Jen? Was that her name? Jen?
Or which? Oh, Andy's.
Yeah, Andy's little assistant character for the little moments she was getting screen time, she was cool as fuck.
Yeah. Miranda's assistant was pretty good. Cool too. I like her.
Yeah, the girl from that Bridgerton show. She played the role right. She was definitely like Emily 2.0, which they're all Emily's. Because even like we talked about in the last video, they they even referred to her as just one of the Emilys. She was like, "Remember Andy's one of the Emilys from like years ago."
Right. Yeah.
Like that was just the standard. It's like
That's
either
funny.
you're Emily or you're Emily. Like you're a Emily or you're Emily.
I wonder if they was still, but they wasn't calling them Emily. I guess it would have been an HR thing now. So she
I
had to stop
mean,
calling her Emily.
my man's the assistant might need to call the HR because he got told he couldn't even go to the bathroom. Sir, you're a full grown adult. You better get up and walk to the toilet.
I know, like that. Yeah. It was like, you think that's best? And he was like, yeah. I think he got a little promotion. Everybody got a promotion at the end. A little promotion, little job shift. Probably like a little 25 cent more. You know how that go at the
Yeah, I'm
job.
about
So
to say he ain't really get a job shift. He was still the assistant to the assistant, but
yeah, I buy it. 25, 50 cent more. Yeah, all right.
when my man's was like, "Yeah, meet me in the
Shit.
cafeteria in like 10 minutes," and Miranda's like, "A cafeteria?" I think we got one of those things. I've been here for over 20 years. My man Nigel was like, "Bro, she's never even been on that floor that the cafeteria is on. Like, she doesn't even know that floor exists." Oh boy, I enjoyed his
That's crazy.
character
Send
so
me to
much.
cafeteria.
I'm not gonna lie. So the first movie, I never have Andy as my favorite character. In the first movie, I think it was definitely Nigel and then Miranda as my one and two favorite characters. Like just portrayal, like the portrayal, not necessarily like who they are as a person. And then it was like Andy and Emily. This time, I think it's a tie for first. Like Emily and Stanley Tucci were like kind of killing every moment that they were on screen for me. I really enjoyed Emily's character, but I can't act like I didn't enjoy Stanley as Nigel's character as much as I did the first movie. So they're right there, and I think Miranda actually might take a step back and be the fourth best character. Uh, I think she had some moments, but she was nowhere near as interesting as she was in the first movie until you get to like the end of the movie where she starts realizing the errors in her ways and stuff like that. So
See that? I can see that. I'll put Anne Hathaway's character first, and that I like the most, and I'll put Emily, Stanley, and then Meryl Streep's character. I'm sorry, y'all, for the non-experts. I'm saying their real names, and I'm talking kind of slow because I'm having like little mouth problems and stuff like that. So you know, what I'm saying just announce that. But yeah, that will put it in there. That would there.
yeah, I mean, all four characters are pretty good. I think Andy, the way her character is written for both movies, is a fantastic protagonist for this kind of story. Um, and I like that their stories don't have this like really overarching like threat or anything like that. Like somebody who's like really imposing and like always in your face, bothering people. I think these movies are just fine with like kind of like leaving you with that question, like what is the actual drama? Like what's the actual problem? Because in the first movie, you know it's Miranda, but it's like she ain't that bad. Like she sucks, but it ain't that bad. She ain't the worst of the worst. And in this movie, you're kind of just like waiting to find out where's the actual drama. And then you get that nice little scene when Andy and Emily run in there like, "Hey, we're here to help you," and then Miranda's like, "Betrayal," and she's like, "Huh?" And she's like, "Yeah, Andy, you betrayed me." And she's like, "What do you mean?" And she's like, "Emily, how about you tell her what you're really here for then?" "Yeah, so you can sell it to my husband so I can take over Runaway." Oops. Oops. And then you're like,
It's good. Yeah,
"Emily."
and it's hard 'cause, like, but as quick as it comes, it goes away quickly.
Yeah, but you're just sitting there in that moment, and it's like, you know, should have seen this coming. But Emily, you bitch. But Emily, like, come
I know.
on.
Yeah, honestly, yo, that's funny you said that because like I felt like that. I was dead ass thinking like I was like thinking with like Anne Hathaway's character, like, okay, yeah, this is all legit. Then so she said, like you said, betrayal. Then she said, tell her. It's like
I think I would have caught this
Emily.
character. I think I would have caught it sooner in the movie if I wasn't like totally disregarding Emily's boyfriend and who he was status wise. I was like totally not like putting anything behind that. And then the whole thing happened, and I was like, And then he was like just
Yeah,
some.
I didn't realize. Yeah,
That nigga got
I
a
didn't realize he had
noggin on
status
him,
like
bro.
that.
That nigga's forehead is like yee high. When he was talking to Miranda at the dinner, and and she was like trying to like you feel him out, like I hope some old traditions stick, and he was like trying to make every excuse on why things change. I was like, that nigga head is enormous. I couldn't help it.
That's
His
funny.
head was so
I
big,
can't
it was
even laugh
hard.
right, but that's it.
His head was so big, it took my attention. Like when I'm watching Lord of the Rings and Hobbit feet be on the screen, because Hobbit feet just take my attention. I'm like, why the fuck are they so big?
He's big and dirty. That's the crazy shit about them niggas. These big ass dirty feet. But yeah, I didn't realize her boyfriend, her husband had that type of status in the movie until everything went down.
I seen
And then he
somewhere.
got the call at the end.
I seen somewhere somebody compared him to basically being like he's supposed to be their Jeff Bezos.
Mm,
And I was like, I can
like
see that.
some rich dude who got rich off of some. Yeah,
Not even just that.
I
He's just
mean,
like
he had a
uber
nice
rich and
house.
owned mad stuff. That's it. He owned mad stuff and was uber rich on the
He
Jeff
had a nice
Bezos tip.
house and all. Yeah, big ass. Yeah, that house they had to get to, they kept having to take the boat and shit. Like,
I'm not
I was
gonna
like,
lie. I was
yo,
kind of not
okay.
paying attention during that scene. I was like, why the fuck these niggas on a boat?
I was like, yo, niggas take a house, boat to this nigga house. He's like uber rich, bro. But yeah, him getting that call right at the end, turning around to them like, yeah, I sold it. I'm out of here. You snooze, you lose. I
Corporations,
was
huh?
like, damn, that was pretty. That was a pretty
Corporations.
big ass pie to the face.
Like I was ready for that Jay
And then
guy
she
to
got
play more of a menacing role. Cause he was in there like touching Miranda and patting her on the back and bumping her shoulder and shit like that. And Miranda just kept like, motherfucker, like who is this motherfucker? Like get him away from me.
yeah. He had like a subtle menacing role. Like they kept it like it was like you said, it was like this little cues he kept doing and saying that would just be annoying to her, like annoying, like to anybody else it would probably be regular, like just a little tap on the shoulder with her, but to her it was
It
super
was the
like
super ick.
like
So basically,
he didn't even have to do much.
you get Jay and Emily as like the real problems, the real menaces. And Jay is just a weasel that has to be in the movie for 5 minutes. That's all he
I
is.
mean, just like right, yeah,
He's just there to go,
just came in sitting on couches.
like that's all he's there for.
Like he wasn't doing nothing. He stood on her couch, that's making her super upset. Like he didn't have to do much. Like his job was man easy as the
Yeah,
bad
because
guy.
he was like in a nutshell, he gave no fucks about that business, no fucks about fashion or anything like that. He just in it for the money. So when he got the call that he could get more money, he was like, "Oh yeah, I'd definitely take this deal, bro. You want to buy all
Yeah,
the
take this
business?
away.
Because if I'm not mistaken, Emily was only like her husband was only gonna buy like Runway. He was only buying Runway, and the reason why Jay takes the deal with Lucy Liu's character is because she's like, "I'll buy the whole business, like the owners who like the ownership to Runway and all that. I'll buy it all. I'll take it all off your hands." And he was like, "You'll give me all that
Yeah,
money? No fucking dumb taking that shit. Have it. I don't want none of
yeah,
this."
yeah. Nah, right. Yeah,
So
smart bad guy. Smart bad guy.
smart weasel.
And Emily
Smart.
was the low key dumb one.
Yeah, she thought she was
You
finessing. I wouldn't say
agree?
she's dumb. She thought she was finessing. She was so close, realistically. And
But she definitely not dumb. Yeah, she definitely not dumb. Ain't nobody dumb in the movie. I should say that. They all pretty smart.
she was doing all the shit married into power, but I mean, she does end as the dumb one because like now she's ends the movie with no husband. He left her, and she's divorced also with 2 kids, and her baby father seems like he hates her guts. He got so mad when
I
she
know
was on the
that.
phone with him. He's like, "You're the one in Italy," and then just hung up on the phone. On now she got
It's
demoted
wild.
to coach.
I thought I'm thinking like that's where her and the girl was going to like get the babies and shit. They pulled up on the oven. And I'm like, okay, this is wild because it just kept from that scene to her at the door, like, hey, you busy? So I'm like, okay, but
They better
still
not do a third
made a
movie.
cool movie. Her husband
I ain't
definitely ready
gonna
to earn her
lie,
some
man.
hell.
Finding out Nigel got her back in there, and that's the real reason why this all went the way is because Nigel is a master planner, like always, and gets the recognition he deserves by the end of the movie. And Emily and Andy being friends, that's a solid end to the story, bro. We don't need no more of them. I'm not gonna lie.
You know,
And I don't think we could wait
nah,
another
yeah,
20
we
years
definitely
either, so.
yeah, nah, they not we not getting no part three. It's over. It was a
Imagine that,
nice
yo,
story to
2046,
tell.
and they're like, The Devil Wears Prada Part 3. Meryl Streep is like,
This whole new actors. We not getting the same actors no
Meryl
more.
Streep's in another failed relationship. Her kids want nothing to do with her, and she's trying to pass the business off to Andy.
What is she's in a wheelchair now? She's in a wheelchair doing all this
Convalescent
fucking
home, still
crazy
trying to look at fashion books and shit. Like,
shit. Gonna be like Jump Street at the end when they did all them fucking in the movie like Jump Street 52 or some shit. It was. You ever seen Jump Street?
I've seen the first one. I saw the first
Just
one.
for the second one, at the end of the second one, they did a montage where they just kept going. It was like Jump Street,
Oh, like if they just
like
continued
40
doing Jump
something. They
Streets.
kept, they
So
kept,
like basically they
they kept
never
making
quit.
movies.
Yeah, they never quit their role as like the
Yeah, it was
spies
like
or
they kept going
whatever.
everywhere, like different schools.
Because you gotta
That shit
think
was
new
stupid.
movies are
It was,
basically just them as spies getting new missions. So realistically, they're just continuing their life. Like,
well,
all right.
yeah, the montage was of them going to different schools. So you know how they went to the high school in the first one, they went to college in the second one. So then it was like, yeah, now you're going to like military school. Now you in fucking I don't know. It was just mad schools, bro. It was just mad school cooking class. It was mad stupid shit. But anyway, um, yeah, pretty much for this, yeah, I agree. I think the ending that they gave us was pretty good for the characters. Everybody's where they need to be at the end. Everybody has the lessons they got. They need it. You know what I mean? Emily got her lessons. Meryl Streep got her lessons. Stanley got his reward. You know, I feel like Anne Hathaway got her reward, and I would say Meryl Streep got her reward too. You know, for
Yeah.
continuing the business
I feel like
and
everybody ends
everything.
up in a good place. Like
Yeah,
again, she dodged getting axed, bro. Like again for another 20 years.
yeah, yeah, right, yeah, right. So yeah, she's pretty much in the. You know what I mean? So
I'm not gonna lie. The funniest bit
um,
might really be that like Miranda really did not recognize Andy for like the first like hour and 15 minutes of the movie. That might be the funniest bit of the whole movie.
yeah, yeah, I would say that. I would say that's part of it. Yeah, because
Nigel even tried a
yeah,
couple times to remind
yeah, he
her,
went
and
off
she's
the
just like, "Who? What are you talking about?"
right. It's not really a humorous movie, but you find a little parts like that, like where you do like where you gonna laugh at, you gonna chuckle at, you know what I mean? So
She tried to bring up like
it's cool.
how disrespectful she was to her when she first got there, and Miranda's like, "I'm kind of like that with everybody." Like, doesn't ring a bell.
He just said, look, she was giving her was were definitely feel like they were authentic. Like that's really how she be looking at people or some shit.
Hey, at least she didn't have to try
Arguing.
to. At least she didn't have to try to get a Potter transcript in a flight in a hurricane.
Yeah, it wasn't none of that. It was never. It was none of that. Yeah, it wasn't that. Wasn't that. Wasn't that. Wasn't that.
Ratings
With that
time.
though, you want to do the grading?
Yeah, it's time. You want to go first? I went first last time.
Yeah, I'm gonna give this movie 7.5 out of 10. Think it's pretty solid for what it does, for what it's supposed to be. It's not supposed to be too much, and yet it fulfills it's everything, the reprise roles and stuff like that. I'm giving it a 7.5. Matter of fact, I'm gonna change that real quick before that becomes. I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10 for what it does. I'm gonna raise that to an 8 out of 10, and only I'm gonna raise that because I feel like there's not much. There's nothing that I really want to ask for, or that I can say that's missing or something like that. Um, Maybe they could have, I don't know, done something better. But for what it is, I'm giving it 8.10, 8 out of 10. You know, so I can't give it a 9 because it's not like a great movie, and I can't give it. I mean, I can't give it a 9 out of 10 because it's not a great movie. But it is a very good movie for what it's supposed to be. So I feel like it did its job. 8 out of 10.
Yeah, I feel like the movie does a great job building off of not necessarily a shaky foundation, but not necessarily the most solid foundation. Because the movie's good, but it's not like a great story, the first one. So to build and give you a better story that felt more cohesive with itself and made a lot more sense to me personally, I thought was already a high mark. I swear that these actors, they must like tap into their bag and like pretend that they're these characters in their regular life every now and then, because these guys, this doesn't seem like a group of people who haven't been these characters in 20 years. They all just kind of like got right back to the script of who these characters are. um and it doesn't skip a beat. The new cast, pretty forgettable. Like this, I don't think you're ever going to talk about this movie And the first thing you start talking about is the new members of the movie, like, or you spend a lot of time talking about because the new members of the movie really aren't important and they don't really do much. The one that you could really think of is like I guess Jay, uh, what's his name, Benji, which is Emily's husband, and Ashley, Jen, and the new assistant. The only ones who like really stand out, honestly, the only one that really stands out to me is Jen. Cause like she actually provides like comedy to the movie. Where like Ashley is just Emily part two. Um the assistant to the assistant, he's just there. He says some shit, but he's realistically just there. And Jay is the weasel and Benji is the money for, the evil plan that doesn't go anywhere. Barely even gets off the ground. Like that's the craziest part. The evil plan barely even gets off the ground, bro. Like they announce it and 5 minutes later it was like, stop. Stop. Do not pass go.
Done.
But like I said earlier, a couple times already, all the returning actors do an amazing job. They kill their roles. I felt really rewarded with all the things that they do to tie the movie up at the end. And once again, fuck Nate. Happy he ain't there. This movie gets a 7 out of 10 from me.
Cool. 7 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
Gets
all
point
right,
two,
all right,
point two
solid,
more than the first movie. Yeah, I was telling my mom I just watched it and I was
I think
like,
I gave the first movie like what, a 6.5 or something.
you gave it like a 6.8 or something.
Some shit like that.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I told my mom I
Better
watched
than the first
this,
movie.
and I told her I was surprisingly pleased with how well this movie went. Because when I left the first movie, I was interested, but I wasn't expecting it to be as good as this was. Like if I walked in a room and somebody was playing The Devil Wears Prada 1, I'd probably be sit down and be like, this is cool, but I'm not gonna have the greatest time watching this. I could walk in on somebody watching The Devil Wears Prada 2 and be like, hey, that's kind of my shit right here. Like when I walk in. So like that's how surprisingly good this movie was that I can walk out and be like, yo, good stuff. Like I said, I like how it
Pretty
rectifies
good, pretty good.
the premise of like it's now kind of pushing you to pursue your dreams and pursue what you want and not let people shut you down in this movie. Where the other one was kind of more on the don't get blinded and become so blinded by your desire to get ahead in life that you forget about the people that were around that before. The people that were around Andy in the first movie sucked. They sucked ass. She should have left him. Like realistically.
Not even around.
Except for one.
Not even around. So.
Except for one who shouldn't be around. The one that should be around, I don't know what's up with him, but like they don't tell you about him. So, or maybe I missed that part.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, to the non-experts listening, that is episode 42.
Yes.
Devil Wears Prada 2. Like, comment, share.
Subscribe,
dare,
all that
please,
cool stuff. If it's free 99, do it.
All that good stuff.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Drop your non-expert opinion. We would like to hear that. Devil Wears Prada 2. You know what I mean? If you are familiar with the first movie, go check out our first review on that, episode 41. Mm-hmm. And yeah, you know what I mean? We want to hear from y'all.
And the floor is now open.
Drop that. Blak Cinco, we are your non-experts. Non-expert opinion. Peace.